All right, let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new X's for Show, your premier media response show. I am Nico, and you guys can check me out at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION.
You almost said response.
Yeah, it's when there's so many things happening right at the start of the show. I have so much. I'm like, wait, someone spoke. I can't do it.
He keeps it mighty righty real.
You can find me at TK Accidental.
And that makes me Tori. You can find me online at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
Hey everyone, it's Jonah. You can find me places at Pete Jonah.
And I'm your producer, Kova, reminding you that I have the power to kick people from the studio and to like, comment, and subscribe so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But today we're covering the premiere of Team Purple. There's too many colors. We keep forgetting which color it is this week, but we're finally at purple.
Well, so I just want to say that I actually didn't mind that he was coming at me shashy.
I was just kidding. You were doing your Amanda Clark impression. I know.
Yeah,
I certainly was.
Crystal Envy at the end of a lip sync. It's all good.
Yeah.
Also, we're all heading back to Shiz, and so I actually want to say I got a great question just to start this episode off from super duper amazing show super fan / Monopoly Go partner to two of us, Matt. And Matt said to me, do you think that means they had the name Wicked 4 good, that they were going to skip Wicked 2 and Wicked 3 and go right to Wicked 4? And I said that I never noticed anybody's mouth say Wicked for good. Right. I noticed them cut away. But I am almost positive that the actual event on stage, they said, promoting the new movie, Wicked, which, by the way, guys, the thing they are here promoting is the trailer release. They are literally here promoting the trailer release, so I guess that's something we do now.
I would like to note, this part at least was filmed last year. The movie had not come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
We had not known how well or bad they were going to do. We just knew that they were playing them in the movie.
Oh my God, these girls didn't know all the backstage drama.
No, we didn't have Holding Space yet.
We didn't have Holding Space.
We were not yet used to Jeff Goldblum in a likable musical role.
Some people were still married.
Oh my God.
All the good stuff.
Why would you say
So, okay, guys, talk to me. First question for all of you is, how do you feel about Arianna returning and having Cynthia here? I mean, it's hard not to notice the fans, guys. It's and we're the fans. I am so homosexual right now.
You and Denali.
Well, and I forgot a lot too that Cynthia also appeared once before as well.
Yes.
I recently rewatched an episode of Fraggle Rock that she was in, where she was a Fraggle. She has all these little things that I'm remembering that she did.
Man, can somebody remind me when she was previously on? I feel so bad. There's just so many guest judges, and they can't all be Jeff from Community.
Season 13, the acting challenge, the last one, she directed it. If I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong.
Well, that's super hot and sexy. Somebody talk to me. How do you guys feel about both these girls coming back?
I mean, I love it. I'm gay and in theater. Of course I love this.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I don't want Chenny and Adina showing up because, number one, Adina will use her giant Netflix big mouth to eat everyone. But number two, next generation of girls, please. Let's keep theater moving. Let's keep it young, because I guess Arianna counts as young. I've got to assume that her extensions are new.
Among other things, maybe. She's about as new as anyone else in the room.
Hey, speaking of new, I don't have a segue. TK, you haven't talked yet. How do you feel about these girls?
I was really trying not to talk.
Oh, right. We'll talk about Cynthia. You don't have a problem with her yet, right?
Well, I do love Cynthia, but I am worried that Arianna is dragging her in a hell spiral to whatever dark place she exists in.
No, but she loves iced coffee.
I hope it's
Anybody
the
loves iced
opposite.
Coffee.
No,
Because Cynthia's
Cynthia's
the anchor.
absolutely not making Arianna better. That can't be done. The only thing that can happen is Arianna can make Cynthia worse, and that is happening, and it makes me sad. Honestly, for as much as I truly think Ariana Grande is a bad person, they were very entertaining and very funny. And I think I love when guests are reverent of RuPaul. And when they're charming but awkward, it can be fun. But when guests are so comfortable that the banter can be as though they could also be regular guest judges, I think that is peak. And I really do, for as horrible a person as I am 100% certain that Ariana Grande is and should be in prison, I think that she was such a natural on the judges panel, and the both of them were so good bantering with the judges. The fact that RuPaul immediately made the iced coffee joke, which like sometimes with guests, it really feels like she didn't know the person was there in the room, let alone that they had a preference for a drink of any kind. And that they bantered back and didn't just go, yes, mother, or something weird like that. It was very fun and very natural. I will say this does not have to do with the fact that I think Ariana Grande is a war criminal, but
you're treating her like she's Michael Alec and that the two of them threw a body into the East River. Calm your shit.
We watched a video about that too. Sorry.
I truly, it doesn't matter who it is. When it was Lady Gaga, who I adore, I did not enjoy this. I don't like when they meet the girls and somebody cries and everybody's all around. I tend to kind of like the second meeting during Untucked where they all hang out a little bit more. And again, I'm pointing to Lady Gaga as a really fun one. But the intro meeting is so incredibly uncomfortable. And frankly, a lot of the Untuckeds are too. This part was really funny. This was great. Yeah. This was fun and natural. But I tend to text Nico and ask him why specifically Ginger was crying, because I fast forwarded through it. I really couldn't watch it. It is the most uncomfortable thing in the world to me.
I didn't even put this up, but I agree with it. Yes.
This is so good. This is so funny. But as soon as we start crying in front of Rachel Bloom, I'm just like, I don't think I want to be here anymore.
I only agree when it actually feels horrendously like Emmy bait. Like, we are in a dangerous situation as a country right now. So it is actually very important to remind the world that we are scared, that we are fighting, and that we have allies like this. But yeah, no, when it's made uncomfortable, when it's made too much of a meal, and the fact that it was followed by this cute moment really helped sweep past any of the overwroughtness.
Just to touch really quick for a second on Scary World and Ariana Grande, who became an outspoken advocate for concert safety after some really unfortunate incidents she experienced. This past weekend, we lost a legendary Project Runway designer to a stray bullet at a No Kings protest. And
in Utah?
Afa from Project Runway, one of the most beloved contestants ever, passed away when a madman charged into a crowd with a rifle and a police officer fired rounds, and a stray round killed Afa. So it's kind of a crazy time out there right now. This is like literally one of the most beloved Project Runway contestants. He's just adorable. And so like true loss, and this is what these girls are out here fighting for. This is why these girls are trying to continue to promote equality and safety and creating a better world, and this is why it does matter. And this is why when celebrity guest Katy Perry comes on, having made some really weird politically questionable choices, it doesn't matter. She's a bad seed on this earth. Love Teenage Dream. So I feel like just, you know, legit, what a superstar, and super loved him, and so sorry to lose you, Afa. But
yes, timescales in Utah.
So that's just a little moment about how real and scary it is out there. So I'm going to have to do the terrible transition. Speaking of scary, I want to say that there have been a couple of turnarounds this season that made me think, like, do I even know where I am? Irene was a turnaround that made me say, do I even know where I am? And I kind of felt the same way with Mistress, where I went from being on her side to refusing to share oxygen with her in the room. But can I say, holy shit, Acid Betty is...
Oh my God, yes.
I thought you were going to say Daya.
No, Daya Betty still bugs the shit out of me.
Oh, wow.
No, I hate her.
I love Acid Betty so much now. I went from lukewarm to sign me up. We just got our tickets for Drag Christmas, where I'm going to finally get to see Shea Coulee. I'm going to see Susie too. We're going to see Anya Nerve. We're going to see Jewel Sparkles. I really wonder if anybody's going to underwhelm me with Abracadabra at Christmas. But I really, Acid Betty, I can't even begin to express how much I see myself and the world in her, and how grateful I am that she is creating art and that we are lucky enough to be a part of it. Sorry I slept on you, Mama, but I'm going to go back.
She was great. So I liked her a lot, and I will get back to her in one sec. I will say I thought Daya's drag really leveled up. I can see still not liking Daya as a person. Yes. She is just as obnoxious, and if she was not for you before, she's not going to be any more for you now. And it's interesting because it feels like Acid Betty kind of learned the lesson that Daya maybe didn't learn or didn't have to. The thing was, after Acid Betty's season, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're horrible," and nobody.
One of them.
Well, she was horrible. Like there are a lot of very point-toable instances where it was like, she is awful. And she herself was like, I'm known for being difficult to work with in the New York team. And she did not immediately get better in the aftermath of Drag Race. She got notably worse for a while, until people were like, no, okay, actually you are losing work now. We now have the choice to work with other people. And then she did kind of start to get better. And so she kind of, I think, had to learn, how do you be yourself, and how do you be a little bit caustic? How do you be a little bit acid, but still figure out how to be likable and enjoyable? And I think I think some of it really does come with age. She is one of the older queens on the season. Mm-hmm. And I think she figured it out for herself, and she's coming off really charming. And I do say, maybe Daya didn't have to learn it, because Daya had that same thing and definitely had, ops in the fandom when it was over. But I think she had just as many people who were like, oh, I like the girl who's a bitch and tells it like it is, which is the same thing that Mistress has. And why Mistress doesn't really change is because for all the fans that are like, I hate this and it's awful and I don't like people being mean, you do have that solid subset of people that are like, I love when a girl makes great TV and is totally nasty and says the terrible thing. And you kind of, for the younger queens, I think there is sometimes a little bit more of an opportunity to make that a brand than there was around season 7 or 8. So where Acid Betty really did kind of have to come in with an adjusted personality, Daya had to come in with adjusted drag, and I think they're both doing what they need to do to stand out this season.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who somehow didn't catch on that Acid Betty was a horrible human, I just remember someone who was very confident and standing next to Bob. So I'd like, all of my notes about Acid Betty are, I wish she'd stuck around. Her snatch game was not good, but I wish she stuck around because I liked what she was doing. And I think that so much of what she is bringing is so fantastic. I hear she's a graphic artist now and does a lot of the graphic art for some of the tours and things. So I'm very happy to have Acid Betty back. I've been wanting this for a while.
Jonah, I specifically really am grateful for your perspective here. Number one, you're so handsome. Number two, we have had such opposite queer journeys where, like, I literally carried around a microphone everywhere I went in kindergarten. No one had to ask. But I didn't come to Drag Race till very late, despite being obsessed, just to make one more reference, with the club kids. And so, like, Michelle Visage is in my DNA. you came to Drag Race so early in your lifetime, and as a result, you've got a few more stories. Like, you helped me understand the context on some of the views I had on Acid Betty, and you provided some backstage context for Diabetti that I found both of them really helped me be a bigger fan of the show.
Yeah, so I perspective is everything. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and what I'm about to say does not mean you have to like anybody. Regarding Acid, I think looking back, Acid was a little blunt, and maybe outside of the second episode where she kind of was antagonizing Chi-Chi, rest in peace. A lot of what she was saying was just kind of a little more blunt, and maybe could be conceived as rude, but she wasn't really being terribly bitchy. I feel most of it came across from the edit and the way that making us think that she was being a bitch. But I don't know if she was necessarily as bitchy as she was portrayed in the show. And I think definitely, her talking about it with Cucu, that she took care of Cucu while she was going through her cancer treatment. And it's very easy to, I think, get this idea of like who people are based off of a TV show, especially a TV show that's excellent at giving us perceptions of how to view people. And what I want to say about Daya, again, you don't have to like anybody, but from all fan accounts I have ever seen of everybody being able to interact with Daya from every meet and greet, that Diabetti is the nicest person that they have ever met, that Daya makes every fan interaction feel warm and welcoming and comfortable and safe, and that she has a way of making fans feel special, especially getting to talk with them and making them feel like they're able to chat with someone that they admire. And I think it's important to remember, this even extend to other people from different brackets, that we don't always know who these people are. Some people do go into a mindset of going on television to play a character. Now, that doesn't excuse any of the consequences or people reacting to you playing a character that way. That is what it is. But I do think it is important to remember that just like everybody in the world, people are multifaceted. And unless you actually directly know these people, we don't know them. And people can maybe come across a certain way, but giving them a chance in real life can be a little bit different.
I also really want to walk back what I said earlier in jest. I don't hate Daya. I don't always like that kind of behavior, but I genuinely didn't find anything that outlandish this episode, especially compared to like Mistress's behavior this season. She actually mostly does kind of give what I'm looking for in terms of that energy, where it is mostly playful, it is mostly character, and I truly believe what you're saying, that everyone has wonderful interactions with her in real life, because that comes across too with the way that she and Alyssa hugged at the very beginning. I believe that.
And TK, try again because you're muted.
Sorry. I also I go hard on girls who have what I feel is bad behavior. It's just not what I enjoy. And it was really funny because especially during that season, I think I was worse about it. And Daya was a character that I instantly connected with. And like the whole time she was kind of saying, I'm not even trying to like be the villain. I'm just kind of bluntly stating my opinions. And to me, it always read like that. Like they even played back as part of like her villain edit, a scene where she's just like annoyed because she feels like she worked really hard on her outfit and that other people didn't. And she particularly points to George's. And it's funny because we had that critique so many times of like Susie by Lana Jarre this previous season. And, everybody loved Lana, and Lana's great. She's fine. But like, she at one point was like, I'm legitimately mad that you got good critiques for your outfit and I didn't. She was like, I find this outfit insulting. So it just kind of, there's also that whole thing of like the energy of the girls together and the vibe of the fandom at the time is also really going to kind of color the conversation year to year. And a girl's behavior that might just be like, oh, she just thought she was being the blunt girl and sharing her opinions and not being particularly antagonistic, even if she wasn't being particularly nice. Some seasons that's how it comes off and that's how fans react to it, and that's what the editors edit together, and that's how the girls perceive it. And sometimes the girls are sensitive, the fans are feeling sensitive, the editors don't have a lot of other villainy to work with, so that gets edited up even more and you get somebody who comes off as a villain. And I do think there was a little bit of that all the way back in Acid Betty season. I will say the other thing, I just thought she was so good. I kind of didn't care back then, but like the untucked moment with Trixie Mattel's message to Kim Chi, I think was where a lot of people did lose a little bit of love for Miss Acid. And I can see why. Like that was just a moment of running your stupid mouth when you shouldn't do it. And like you could still be a good person and be a lovely to be around and be nice and still have I am like that. I say stupid shit like that when I'm kind of like, you know, in a private space. Unfortunately, this was a public private space and people really did just see it. You know, it's unfortunate when that happens, but it didn't make me love her any less and didn't make me think she was any less talented and didn't make me any less excited to see her come back onto the show. But that was definitely a moment that I was like, oh, you're going to get hate for this and you maybe deserve it a little bit.
See that? And so I think this is also part of, because I too am new. I've watched everything within like 16 months recently. And so for me, I watched that moment and I went, oh, this is one of those things where the girls are talking and it's just an old season. It's like when they're like, well, if you're trans, you're not actually a drag queen. Like that kind of chatter that used to permeate the show. And so I was like, oh, someone just doesn't like her drag. Oh well, like if I held every girl to the shit they say in Untucked, like I don't know if I'd be able to watch the show anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, it's something I want to go back to from earlier that Kevo and TK, you were both saying that there are girls that we, you know, not only do we not know, but like the thing they create on air is one thing, and then they immediately take what they do on air and they put that out into the world. And it is immediately refined as a result of having been on air. And so like the girls have all leveled up so much that it actually does kind of create an unfortunate thing, right? If the world's strongest man goes from, you know, level 10 to level 11, that's great. He went up one level. But if an average person races up and becomes the world's second strongest man and goes from level 3 to level 9, they've tripled what they can do. Whereas the person who was already so strong just goes up slightly. Ginger Minge getting this win was great because she deserved it. I specifically immediately fell in love with her defying gravity because she had something that not enough fucking people have. And right now she should absolutely be, you know, and she would agree with me, kicked off a cliff. But the one thing that we can never take from Patty is she has the greatest hand movement in Broadway. And, you know, it's the way that Bernadette moves her head exactly right. And someone like Ginger has studied these women and so many more greats and adds her own brilliant flair. And from moment one, Ginger's movement was just the shit that Weber wrote for in '89. It was flawless from step one. The problem is, I don't think that's that far from what she's done before. And so I'm in a bit of a Trixie and Roxy and Alyssa place where, like, when you come up in terms of Drag Race, I'm sort of like, you're a little too legendary. You know, Trixie not competing currently by any stretch, but like, she's somebody that everybody's like, oh, she should come back. No, she shouldn't. She should never come back. She should stay a lipstick mogul. Thank you. She should, you know, hang out with me. She should be my best friend, but she should not come back to Drag Race.
I want to say first and foremost that I did not care for this. There are just some songs where I'm like, I don't get this as a lip sync. I don't always love the ballady emotional ones.
I think Popular would have been a lot more.
Yeah, even like hers with Mika or something. I feel like this was, I don't know. And I'm glad it made everyone else so emotional, but it didn't.
No, Kevo, I'm with you. I was going to say a similar thing. I'll get there in a second.
I still would give it to Ginge, though, is the thing. I felt hers more embodied it if I have to pick, you know?
I also didn't love this choice, and it is what I mean. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, as soon as we knew who was coming on and what they were promoting, I'm not particularly surprised. I connected more with Daya's. I thought this was 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I didn't think anybody did at all bad. I am not fascinated, but I think it's interesting because while I have seen Wicked, I think I was not looking for embodying the song in the same way that I would for like a pop song. Or rather, I think I was looking for it in the same way that I would for a pop song. I wasn't looking for embodying it as the like piece from a musical that it is. And so for me, I gravitated more towards Daya the whole time and really enjoyed her performance. But I think you guys are right insofar as Ginger embodied the song as it was meant to be performed and as it was written, so it was kind of, I didn't really care either. The other thing is the thing that Nico said, which is just like, I don't know that Ginger needs to be here anymore. Like, I love her so. I wasn't surprised that she won because she already is so good. Like, this challenge was right up her wheelhouse, and it was one of the best, but then somehow most disappointing wins because obviously she won because she already is so good. Like, I never doubted it. It sucks that everybody can't get a crown and that it's partially a game show. So like you have to get eliminated, but there's no doubt that there's, you set the challenges correctly and you put certain contestants up there, and there's no doubt that Ginger could have a Drag Race crown and deserves it. I don't know that I just don't know that I want to see her keep doing this. I already think she's amazing. She's already somebody who I would be so stoked to see if she came to my town, if I was in a town where she was. She has all of the things. She just doesn't technically have the crown. And I think, even more than somebody like Georges, who is so young and actually really changes with every season, Ginger hasn't changed that much since her first run on All Stars. She's just been good the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it was a little 6 of one, half dozen of the other in terms of these gals. I do agree. I think Ginger embodied the emotion of the song. I think Diabetti brought that drag flair that a lot of people look for in lip syncs. I also think I noticed that there was a cut right before the final moment, and Ginger's hair was a little more mussed and she was a little sweatier. And
they probably did it twice.
The lip sync?
Yeah, they sometimes do.
Oh, well, I think that maybe perhaps the deciding moment maybe didn't look great on camera, but was very impactful to the judges. Mm-hmm. So I think that might have also been it. I like having Ginger Minj around. I think she's excellent. I'm very surprised. I thought we'd have a little more like the new queens being like, oh my God, this person's here. Oh my God. Like we were kind of with like Georges and Gottmik realizing Roxy was in the room kind of thing.
I think Daya said it at one point. I think Daya was like, it's cool that I'm here. I think, or it might have been Denali.
Oh yeah, and I showed the whole thing of Cynthia falling in love with Denali. Well, no, that's the fire crotch, but this is
sometimes it's just love at first sight. So I think that was kind of what they wanted to do. I think they might have wanted to have someone who's been around the block and is obviously very, very good at this to keep the gals on their toes. And I think perhaps All Stars has just grown to the point where everyone shows up at the top of their game. So it's a little harder to figure out who is the juggernaut from back then. But I mean, if we don't crown her now, she's going to come back again in 4 years. So
that's the math.
That's the math. All Stars 2, 6, and 10. Come on.
Jonah, what do you think?
One, I can never have enough Ginger on my television. Ginger was one of the first queens I fell in love with. Season 7's first season I got to watch live, and way back when, way on the Wayback Machine, I used to like dig around for people's videos to see what they had online because it was the world of drag was very, very different, especially with Drag Race girls. It was very different back in the day in the old seasons of like getting info on people. One of the things I used to do is I used to love watching people's performances that they had online to see how they would be as a performer. It's part of why I fell in love with Layla McQueen, because I loved Layla McQueen's performance style. And that's why I fell in love with Thorgy for season 8. But Ginger was someone, I got to see 10 minutes of Ginger hosting, and it was one of the most like easy, like casual, amazing performances of someone just hosting and what felt like natural, of like, oh, that's where she was meant to be. So I could never have enough Ginger. I individually love Daya's outfit this episode. She looks like Lady Deathbird. She's ready for her Shi'ar empire. Absolutely. I love like the individual look. For me, I maybe liked the story and the cohesiveness of Acid and Denali a little bit more, but I also understand what the judges were saying where the outfits didn't feel as pushed. And I said this while we were watching the episode, nothing, and I mean nothing on this planet could ever make me hate Cucu. Cucu makes me so happy. Cucu makes me think of what could have been if I had a good relationship with my family members who were Spanish. Like Cucu specifically talks like my grandmother who immigrated from Spain to Puerto Rico to the US. So it just makes me think of like what could have been. But I adore her. I love her. Nothing could ever make me hate her.
You know, I feel the same way because Cucu sounds just like my auntie, and my auntie was from Cuba, and she sounds, I mean, it is a 1-for-1 match. What was shocking to me was you had Ginger and Daya, and then Denali and Acid, who kind of did shades of the same thing. One did a little bit more like campy Adam West Batman, and the other one did a little bit more like campy George Clooney Batman, but they did the same kind of thing. And then you had, out of nowhere, Cucu and, oh my God, I feel so bad.
Alyssa Hunter.
Thank you, Alyssa. I just kept thinking sexy trade boy. Alyssa,
that works.
come in. And they were just a gift collection of themselves, which is real cool.
That was weird.
They didn't really create a story. They did a best parts moment. And it sort of felt like Alyssa, in listening to Cucu, was playing to a season 7 thing. In season 7, everything was making a reference to the 2 or 3 things that came before. But by season 16, it's about referencing bigger culture and being up on what's cool outside of Drag Race. And so I just felt a little bit like these two suffered for not understanding how the show has evolved.
I honestly felt like all 3 sets were incredibly repetitive, and the only thing that made Ginger and Daya stand out is that they made the strongest tweak for Daya. But everyone basically did Fire and Ice to some degree.
Okay, but I just want to say Daya up here looking like Wes Borland right before she left Limp Bizkit for Big Dumb Face.
Yeah, you know, but they like changed it to bird instead. Instead it's feathers. But like if this had been red feathers, every single one would have been identical. And it's really weird that no one pushed in any different direction. There was a moment early on in the episode, and I caught a screen cap of it, where Acid Betty is like throwing out these different pitches. Yeah. And she sounds a little bit like a lunatic, and she's like, I'm just trying to, you know, come up with ideas, and like gets this 1,000-yard stare of like realizing that she's just it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be, man.
Yeah.
I recently watched a reel of Bob saying, we have to stop them from making Versus the Worlds. We have to every girl should say no. And then the immediate next clip was Bob saying, I'd love to host Versus the World. And then the thing after that was her saying, I think Rue is going to leave Down Under, then UK, and then 2 years later US, and they're just going to give it to Trixie or end it. And what I want to say is I really want to see Trixie just like barge into the room and be like, no, Acid, no, honey, no. This is, You are going crazy. What I am so shocked about is it felt like this episode had minute for minute the least Rue. Like, number one, Law Roach, another Project Runway crossover moment. Law Roach, I don't like seeing you dressed like a repressed sportscaster. Don't do it. No, you got
into the role. T.S. Madison did nothing. So good for you putting on like a big...
immigrants.
Yeah.
So, but Law Roach over here looking like he's ready to be a correspondent on American Faggiators.
Looking like Susie Orman.
I am ready to save money. So this is really something else. But I just really feel like this episode had so little Rue in a way that maybe if these girls had had a little more remediation, this could have been a rusing success instead of just sort of fine Andre Charles.
I had the exact opposite reaction. I felt like
you said you can remove him.
I felt like it was great that Rue was not there, and it gave them all more time. I felt like we got more time with them. And it might be in part because we're on the third set of girls. And this was where I really felt like maybe the formula works, the tournament formula works, because it does kind of feel like you're getting 3 shows for the price of 1. And the vibe is different with each group. And it feels like, you know, how not just the group dynamic, but like how the performance goes and the challenge is feels different. It feels like 3 different shows. And the lack of RuPaul, for one thing, I'm getting a little sick of RuPaul. So like already, he removed himself. That's how much he, the lack of RuPaul, you know, was okay because she's been so present, and it wasn't so little that like it felt different than the other shows. It just felt like maybe we just had a little less time with her. But like I said, it felt like we got more time with the girls as a result. And my other really big feeling is like, I don't know that adding any more Rue could have saved the fact that this was another like not the best ever challenge. I love the idea of working in pairs. I do think while the way it worked for All Stars 1 was terrible, and making them be together basically the whole time really did not work. I loved synergy. I loved synergy as like a 5th word in the acronym. And I think, I think they should lean into it a little bit and be like, there's always a synergy challenge on All Stars. Like you always have to really pair up and like figure out how to rely on, be professional and rely on somebody else in your profession. So I did like that part, but again, it's just like, because this group of insanely creative, talented people could only come up with essentially fire and ice, as you said, Kevo. It just kind of is proof to me that it's not like, oh, what a bunch of flops. This challenge didn't give anybody anything to live up to, except looks wise.
With Acid and Denali, which one suggested they flip the expected elements and which one said no? Does anyone remember?
Acid was the initial suggester that they flip stuff. And then Denali was like, oh, that's so great. That's so cool. What if we did not do that at all for any reason ever?
That's why I got this face, because this face, and I wanted to check before I said, this was Acid Betty realizing, oh, this is not actually going to be competitive or anyone challenging themselves. This is just everyone is going to play it as safe as possible.
We just got to survive.
Acid was excited to do ice, clearly.
Yeah. Acid looking like the child of Tank Girl and Gritty here, though, is absolutely everything to me.
I was going to say Mike Wazowski, but we're in the same zone.
No,
Sully,
Brian Sullivan.
I am like so in love with Denali, both as a performer and as kind of like legitimately a queer icon, like just being like, I'm so happy to be gay in this moment. Like that is fucking beautiful, and that is too. And I feel like the thing that I hate for Denali is everybody feels like they know her. And so like that was Denali's moment to be like, no, fire. Like that was a moment to be different and unexpected. But I get that, you know, Jonah's point is we were watching it live. Jonah was like, there's 3 episodes. They do not have 1 minute to make a mistake. And I get that. I really do, because like, you know, mistakes are gonna cost you, you know, votes. And that's like a real thing when it comes to these stupid points.
Well, like she had an idea. She was like, this challenge isn't the one to do it. We do have 2 more.
Yeah.
I maybe not the worst instinct ever.
But it makes me worry that, because, and this is something that we just don't even talk about enough, but like the majority of Britney Spears' music does not sound like Baby One More Time. But that is still the sound people think of for her, even though they name 1,000 songs that don't sound like it. I am so frustrated with what I'm going to call Michelle's obstinate turnpike judging this entire season, where she is just this fucking side of the bathroom at a Nathan's at a rest stop, and I am deeply disturbed by how shitty the things she keeps saying are. It is starting to piss me off that she is coming for these girls. She's coming for these girls so unkindly, and I just want to be like, ma'am, can you name your #1 single? No, you can't? Then calm down with how hard you're coming at these girls. I swear to God, she is really starting to give Santino fried rice energy, and I liked it better themed.
I loved another guest judge giving her crap for it, though. That was great.
Yeah.
She's been wrong a lot this
That's
season.
the new bit.
My other favorite was how she was like, oh, this is costumey. I like that. And I was like, someone is about to hit the roof, and their name is Aja. Like, honestly.
Where's that screen cap?
With the announcement of her hosting Botched Plastic Surgery Rewind, I just more and more think that she's a paid shit. Like she is a paid producer stand-in for when they need the feedback to sound a certain way so that the story can progress a certain way. And I'm not even being nasty. I'm not even being I love it. Nasty when I say that. I am saying, like, I think Michelle came to work. Like,
yeah, it's a job.
Yeah.
iPad. She pulled the iPad. Professional hater Michelle.
Yeah.
Pull the iPad out for the receipts.
Pull the iPad out. Show for the receipts. You know,
she's a Virgo.
She has clearly been such an influence on the show. She has toured with these girls. She knows them all so well. I don't know anything about the relationships that they have offset once this goes on, but more and more it really does feel like Michelle is the person that is there to say the thing, whether it is complete nonsense or not, that sets up the narrative. She is the one that will say the one negative comment that Aja gets, which means that for the rest of the show, the question is Aja in the bottom or not? Now, is that how Michelle actually feels? I really kind of have to doubt it, because I just, it's too nonsensical and it happens too much.
I agree. Aja is nonsensical. Just listen to Bodhisattva.
Yes. But, you know, I just, it is getting a little bit old at this point.
I just want to say real quick, this is the pink, by the way. This is the pink I wanted the pink jumpsuits to be. I wanted something more like this. This was a gorgeous suit, so I'm at least going to give her a compliment for that. And I'm also going to give her a laugh for the fact that she clearly said between segments, no, I want glasses like La Roche. So somebody get me glasses.
La Roche doing that, like, you came for La Cucaracha and my last name is Roche. There is a thing where, like, you know, for the most part, I don't fucking love when people find a way to play a funny thing with Nico or Nicholas or Nickelodeon. Like, that's not my shit. But when someone does it to themselves, like if I do it to myself, I hope you laugh. And like, I got to imagine La Roche having a name like La Roche, and I don't know how stage name that is, or if Roche, you know, has been their stage name for so long that you've gotten shit for it. But like, that level of humility from perhaps the toughest judge on the panel, oftentimes, that I've never been so excited for Law to be on Project Runway. The only reality show I care more about than Drag Race's classic Project Runway. And
he's the Tin Man.
Oh, I love that. And I am so excited to see this further evolution because I do believe we're not just watching Project Runway for my faggot ass. We're watching it for another faggot ass. That is right. Utica Queen will be competing this season on Project Runway, which is so exciting. I love seeing these girls get life other places, especially when they haven't made Nazi porn. So it's always really exciting to see them cross over. We also have Monet Exchange showing up on the Traders. We have Mistress showing up on several internet's meanest lists. We have plenty of girls making their appearances all around the world. So I don't understand how Anthony Kiedis hasn't been a judge on this show yet. With his little ponytail just being like, no, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I think it's just a matter of time.
Does he say it both times like he has echolalia, or did you realize you should have put the intonation in after?
I have to imagine that he, Flea, and John Frusciante have done a combined amount of heroin so significant that they occasionally forget they have echolalia.
Okay.
Also, great drag name.
Echolalia.
Very nice.
Oh, I was like, John Frusciante? No, he's an amazing guitarist. Anyway, the high E on Scar Tissue is slightly flat. And so I really do want to give this bracket something that I can't give any of the other brackets. The other brackets felt like girls fucking fighting. For number one, as they should. This felt like when you got down to the final 6 girls of a season to me. I felt like this watched like the 7th episode of a season, not like the beginning of a bracket. And I think it had to do with the comfort that these girls bring. I feel like with the first bracket, everybody had something to prove in a significant way. Whether, we were talking about how Olivia is, punching the ghost that she didn't get a design challenge after winning Glam Slam. But like every one of these girls did actually have something to prove. Whether it's Deja showing off that she is actually just a better queen, not a skinnier person, and that doesn't need to be the thing you talk about. Whether it's Aja reclaiming her space, or Irene finally having her moment, Bosco having them breasts, or Phoenix continuing to live in her AARP era. I really feel like every girl on Orange had something to prove. And, when you get to Pink, I don't have to explain why every girl had something to prove. Pink is literally approve me the club. Every one of these
Mean Girls Pink.
Yeah, these girls have their mouth open and they are just waiting for you to cover them in respect. So then you get to Orange and Purple. Sorry. Purple. You get to Purple and these girls just want to perform. They're just here, man. And like, I felt like these girls had an at ease that I don't know that I've seen something this easy since the New York Times crossword puzzle on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I really agree. I mean, I think we're now seeing, like, I really agree that Orange was the group with something to prove. Like, each of these people was kind of looking for a little bit of a second chance, and not like a redemption, but like, let me really show you what I can do the second time around. Like, whether it's somebody who barely was here at all recently, like who seemed like they were going to be amazing, Phoenix, who hasn't been around in a while, Bosco, who has transitioned and is just such a different queen. Like, they were all really different. For the second group, I think the vibe was just like literally attitude. Like, it was 6 queens that had really big personalities, and not that they didn't all have that same thing of let me come back and show you how I've changed or what's new about me, but like, they wanted to bring a lot of personality, like not just to show you what they had, but to kind of to perform a little bit as their character. And then the vibe for the last group really is like, they wanted to show this is a group of like creative spectacle. Each of whom, like, because they were all good the first time around. Again, everybody's happy to show what new stuff they brought, but they were all good the first time around. They just want to show you their craft some more. And again, everybody's going to have drama. Everybody's going to have fight. Like, it'll all be a lot of the same stuff, but you really can see the like slight bending of the light for each group that makes them different from each other. And it is why I think this format works right now. I think the thing I'm going to be really interested to see in 3 weeks is, have I like kind of lost track of Orange because it's been a minute since I've seen them? Am I going to feel a little more comfortable with whoever is coming in from Team Purple because I just saw them last week, whereas the Orange girls are going to feel kind of unfamiliar because it's been, 8 months since I saw them?
I really love the way you brought up that your internal barometer, even on the girls who succeeded, would maybe cool, because my thought was, what girl have I cut because they lost?
Right.
That's going to come back. Do I frankly not? You're not in my game. I don't care. You're out, mama.
Right.
Go home. So
yeah, no, they should. I love the idea. I love the idea that 3 girls are getting some kind of second chance based on judges' grace. I don't think it should be second chance for the crown. I think, they should get like a 3-way lip sync or something. They should get to do something, but it shouldn't be for the crown. It should be for a $50,000 prize in Queen of Sheet on Arianna Hatters or whatever it's going to be. But it's so it's such a quirk or such a gimmick because we all know we wouldn't feel good if that queen skipped the line and won. So they're probably just not going to.
Right.
Tori, I love your perspective for 3 reasons. You do drag more than any of us. Every single episode, you come out here with some kind of look, and like
week after week.
And that is something that is so consistently difficult. Like, I do, the same Nico action identity, but like, and that's something where like some of the girls where the makeup is so the same every week, they don't show versatility. Mama, you literally show versatility every week.
That's such a kind way of saying you still haven't figured out how to do it right.
Well, you know what? If that's what you've got,
that's
then
what
Madonna's
I tell
got
me.
the same problem, and she's getting a Netflix series about her life. So where's yours? Number 2, you come with such a production background. You don't just love art and have respect for art. You understand how the sausage gets made. You're in the room where it happens. Other Burr references. And then third, not enough women are given a space to talk about Drag Race. It's definitely a male-dominated sport, but I feel like the fact that there are so many important women in drag that we don't give the voice to, that we don't give the microphone to. I had an actual psychotic break when Alison Goldfrapp appeared. Everyone will remember. And it's because the voices of this scene, of this culture, are so important to be diverse. And so how are you feeling about this triplicate syndicate that you get to sort of pass judgment on from afar?
I will admit that I like it a lot. I think I still go back and forth and think that I might have liked one episode of Bracket 1, one episode of Bracket 2, one episode of Bracket 3. I think that would have kept it kind of going a little more, and kept everyone fresh in our minds, because I am also thinking about the hard hits of watching Irene crush her third one, of watching Mistress slaughter Kerry on stage for that final to get through to the end, and then whatever drama is coming from this that I can almost guarantee is going to be RuPaul breaking a tie. Like I think that like that would be like a really way to amp up and into things, and I think it would make it so that we just saw all those girls leave, so of course we want some of them back, and so I'll be interested to see what happens if they keep this format and they do it again, and what little tweaks there will be throughout the thing. But I like these 6 girls. This is the bracket where I'm like, I don't have as many like strong, like I don't have a strong top 3 in here. Like I feel like it could go a bunch of ways, and I think that we've now kind of I had a worry that Ginger Minge might not get through, but I think it's pretty hard to kick out someone who took the first one from what we've seen in the other brackets. So
Tina.
I know. I know. Tina had better be put in that little ball machine and pop out. That's all I'm asking for.
Tina Burner better make herself deeply available to my stupid gay ass who loves to tip with fives. Do you hear that? Come to Jersey. Jonah, what are your thoughts?
Overall, I feel a little bad because I don't know if this episode was the banger beginning that they kind of wanted it to be. This episode felt like it was just edited a little bit weird. The pacing felt off. Everything about this episode just felt a little bit off. I think it was heartwarming, and I think it was a necessary break from episode bracket 2. But I think I would have maybe liked if they had given them something a little more challenging and personable where you can walleye on yourselves. It felt so... I was like, in such disbelief that they just got to pick their own teams and get to pick if they were the good witch or the bad witch. I was like, they normally do that for them for shenaniganry.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. I was just really blown back that they just like, yeah, do whatever you want, go.
And that's where Rue's absence was most felt, I think. I agree.
I actually wonder if it had to do with the producers of Wicked saying this is about sisterhood. It needs to reflect positivity. It can't be anybody feeling duress during the show.
Maybe, and I would fully understand that and get that too. It just was it wasn't a bad episode by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think they could have done this bracket a little bit better. Maybe this could have been better as a second challenge. Have the first one for their own and have this be the second one, but they don't want to do that because they want no, I say that. But we had Chapel Roan as the big get for bracket 2 for episode 2. So they could have come for the second episode, but obviously schedule blah, blah, blah. I just want these girls to do better. And this is the bracket where there's 4 people I want to go through, and I'm going to be devastated that when one of them doesn't get to go through.
Oh, I gotta know. What's your shit list? What 2 girls are you like, their time is coming? It's not now.
I said I loved her before. I think Cucu's here for a fun time. I don't think she's here for a long time. I don't think Cucu's going to make it through, but it doesn't matter because I get her on my TV screen, and that's better. And I really need Alyssa to drop the trade thing because now it's just verging on this handsome man has staked his entire identity on this one thing, and I think we need to see I just need a little more well-roundedness of the type of queen Alyssa Hunter is.
Especially with how huffy she got repeatedly in this episode for things like, no one's paying me enough attention. Shh. Real moments are happening.
There's a meme that goes around that's sort of like, hey, that person that you follow who posts a lot of shirtless photos, remember when their bio said writer? And Alyssa Hunter, remember when your bio said drag queen, not trade? And literally her whole identity is based on being sexy. I literally forgot her name because I just kept thinking hot guy I'd find on Scruff, hot guy I'd find on Grindr. Her name escaped my brain at one point. That's embarrassing, but her shirt doesn't say Alyssa Hunter is trade. Her shirt just says trade. You can
also in a way that's difficult to read.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like one of Dylan's shirts from Modern Family. But it kind of reminds me of the fact that girls like Alyssa show up in shirts that say Alyssa Edwards is queen. I can't read this. This doesn't say Alyssa Hunter is trade. It just means that you bought something that says trade. Cool. But I'm expecting on the back
I keep thinking
it to say Motorcycle Cub. I meant to say club, but you know what? Motorcycle Cub works too. Kevo, what are your thoughts on this 3x3 as we are getting into the semifinals? I mean, we are closer to the semifinals than far. This is definitely a out of the woods situation.
This has definitely made the time pass interestingly. I love TK's point earlier that it feels like we've watched multiple seasons already. We've only been doing this for a month, not even.
Wow.
And yeah, no, it feels like it's been forever because of the way that the format has worked. I would be interested as a scientist to see what the other way would be. Like Tori and I originally envisioned, where it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 instead of 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 2 3. I would just be curious how that would have affected us, especially because, like we've said, some people are so distant that it feels like forever ago. The cut girls from Orange, when they turn back up, it's going to feel so strange, especially we assume that's not going to come until after the semifinals, when we are going to get a whole new season of these 9, whoever they're going to be, girls competing against each other.
And I want to say, what would you also think of? Because I love your and Tori's take. But what if all the girls had the same challenges? Maybe variations where one girl group had, like, the rap battle songs, one girl group maybe had country songs, and one girl group had pop numbers. Like, what if they had the same challenges, instead of some girls being judged for their design skills and some girls getting to sing multiple times? I'm a vocalist. I love to think that being a singer makes me special. No, it doesn't. Everybody can sing. If you've got a song in your heart, there's a song you can sing so fucking beautifully, you can bring people to tears better than anybody with 1,000 years of vocal training. So how do you feel about the idea of the fact that some girls are being judged for different things?
That is, I agree, going to make this very interesting too, because we have already seen in the preview for next week that we are getting another music challenge. Letting that load. Are they going to get a second music challenge the way every other bracket has gotten 2? Are they only going to get 1? Oh
my god,
kind
is
of
the
feels
top
like
10 going to get Snatch Game 5-on-5?
I would be really stunned if their episode 3 was Snatch Game. At this point, I feel like Snatch Game must be semifinals.
I hope.
It would be bizarre, but that's what is in some ways exciting and in some ways terrifying about this season. The fact that we don't know what is going to come. We don't know how we're going to react to it. We are having all of this happen live. I probably would have done a different challenge for this premiere, though. I think forcing the girls into teams, I think the way that it had to follow this weird rubric, the fact that everybody wanted to show their strength in the premiere instead of taking a risk, like, that makes sense for them. But, we are on episode 7. We are not on the premiere. We want to see risks. So it's tricky.
I agree with a lot of what Kev was saying, and honestly, going into this, I think I was very like, oh, they're not going to get judged on the same challenges. Like, that's kind of crazy. But now I really think about what the All-Star is supposed to be, and it's supposed to be, you're supposed to kind of be good at everything. And so you can't say, well, everyone should be judged on the same, because technically the audience then would get super bored super fast. It's like, we're going to do the song thing again.
I really get that now.
So I think this is one of the seasons where they're really taking into account how the audience is going to be watching it, because they're playing games with how it's being fed to us. And so I think they're really starting to pick and poke at, like, what is the audience like? What is the audience not like? What is, really like narrowing it down, so that then they can put out the perfect formula every time, which could be good or could be very upsetting, depending on where you fall on their happiness scale.
So I see that we've got people joining us still yet this late in the episode. I love that. We're having a freewheeling discussion about episode 7 of All Stars season 10. We're having a great time. We're kind of winding down, talking a little bit about how we feel that this season is shaken out as an overall picture. One of the things that I definitely think kind of sucks now that we're talking about it is I'm really realizing that this All Stars is only giving some people 3 episodes, but at most, I think the best people are getting 6 episodes. The best people are getting 6 episodes. In that regard, this is at best a mini season, but it's like multiple mini seasons stacked together. So it's sort of weird because I'm not getting more than 6 episodes of anybody.
Well, and because something I was thinking about too is when we're talking about Ginge and this being her 4th time and all of that, and we keep talking about Lydia being placed on this so suddenly right after her initial season, and the fact of the matter is this isn't an actual sports league. These are entertainers, and it's also a matter of who can they book, who can they get, who can they guarantee in for especially this, which is something that is very experimental. So I wonder how it was pitched. You're only going to get 3 episodes guaranteed, but you might get more. That was probably a hard sell. We know girls dropped out. So, it makes all of it very tough.
I would just love to know if anybody has any kind of like parting thoughts on this episode. For me, the big takeaway that I'm getting from this is we're reaching a point of diminishing returns on a lot of the setup function. Outside of the girl groups or the songs have like a specific focus and identity, I'm done with them. They're getting less cute every episode. I don't know if at some point they switched Leland from Drag Race with Leland from Twin Peaks, and so everything is getting fucking weird. But the songs are starting to be like a little bit, am I here right now? Like, is this the song? Are you sure?
Notes.
And like we're reaching a point, yeah, truly. And we're reaching, the next song is going to be about Confederate miniatures. And we're reaching a point with the nature of how Snatch game is getting changed. I'm a Snatch celebrity, get me out of here. I think, and guys, please, Rue, call me. Mama, I have your best interests at heart. I really, really, really do. I'm going to tell you to stop fracking. But I would love Weakest Snatch and do a Weakest Link Snatch game where the girls have to answer as themselves. And like, a round table with a podium, throw out the format. But like what we're getting to with so many of these challenges is I'm bored. The 2 girls creating a storyline. Since when are these girls, as Jonah brilliantly put it, since when do these girls belong to WGA West? Like,
yeah, that was a lot to put on them.
And like the problem is these girls can barely navigate their own personal storyline on a day-to-day basis. I don't trust them with fictional characters. And so, end of the day, Acid Betty stole the show for me this episode. Denali always steals the show for me every episode. I truly, and this is a joke really, but like Denali had her choice of like drag, ice skating, Olympic career, or men.com model. And like, I think she chose the right one. What?
She chose all the above.
Oh, chose all the above. And I think she chose the right one being on my TV. I'm so lucky that these unbelievable 18 queens graced my stage. And then, of course, 2 men, RuPaul Andre Charles and Michelle Visage. And so I am really here to see these girls continue to grow. But the last thing I wanted was Michelle to become the villain to RuPaul's passive host. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the finale light. He's got to be strong, he's got to be smart, and he's got to be a drag queen at night. So
I think that they're positioning the guest judge to be the hero is the thing. I think that's why
maybe Simone.
I mean, the problem is the guest judge is often somebody who doesn't give any feedback. What's crazy is they're positioning Law Roach to be the hero. Law Roach is the nicest he's ever been in his entire life when he's on Drag Race.
Oh no.
He has legitimately, for the most part, been so sweet. Occasionally he has like a little bit of a read, but it's usually funny. Like it's usually a very drag. It's
He's
not
been
like
I've Law Roach.
Yeah. And so I really thought they were going to when they announced that he was going to be on more regularly, I thought they were going to hand off to him and Michelle would finally get a break and just be like, I just think you're all great and I just want to be your mom. And Law would be super mean and it would be really funny, but that's not what happened. And also, Nico, I have terrible news based on your previous assessment of things. The third challenge is the Golden Bitchler. So it is, in fact, just being characters. So that's what we will be doing. We will be
I
doing
don't know
music.
what the point of any of this is anymore. I don't get to state Spanky Jackson. I have to watch dumb challenges. The songs are getting worse. What is this? The American Music Awards?
I wish I could help you. It's tough, and I think it's one of those things where it is possible that we have oversaturated ourselves. And so we're coming at this from, it's one of those where if you sit down and watch every performance of Rose's Turn that everyone has ever done all in a row, someone is going to eventually say the words like, I don't think Bernadette Peters is that good. Which is not my opinion. I've already given Bette Midler.
No, but I've heard it. And
But I mean,
she's right. It's out there.
Hold on. We can agree that true to the script and the original score, Bernadette is the best living by far, right?
Of the Roses?
Yes.
Oh, I really liked Patty's. I got to see her in previews. Sorry, not sorry.
No, Patty is the love of my life. I think Patty's never made a mistake in her life except every time she speaks out of character. So, if she's in character, never made a mistake. Is Patty talking as Patty? Tons of problems.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things where if you watch too much of it in a row, you become a little desensitized. And I think that might be where we're at. I mean, we did spend almost an entire year without a break from Drag Race in some form of the English language. And I think maybe that's what we're sort of hitting, is that the guy who makes the songs only has 25 songs in him, and he's now on song 47. The people who make the skits only have 17 skits in them, and we're on skit number 90,000. Like, there's only so many ideas that the people who run the show can do before you need to get new blood in the room. And this feels like a show that's not interested in that. So we get what we get, and then we just get upset.
I love that take.
I do.
I don't love it either, but it seems like it might be a little closer to the truth than we'd like.
Not every year can be Wild Party versus the Wild Party, which I can't anymore. I just can't. Every now and then they let an off-Broadway show at the Tonys. All right, so let's close this beautiful creature out. I love every one of these girls as a performer. I've had the luxury, the honor, and the privilege of meeting so many of Drag Race's alumnus in the last couple of years. In this last year alone, I've met Saphira, Plasma, Asia, and as three of my favorite girls of all time, I can say that each one of them made me feel special in our interactions. Each one of them made me kind of feel like an all-star. And one of the things that I love about this season that I feel like Jonah and TK sort of alluded to earlier, these girls are kind of giving that very intimate feeling of themselves when they're ready to. And I think that is something that comes with the seasoning of the show taking so many years to develop so fully. Kevo and Tori, I hear your point about being afraid that the show maybe isn't looking for new blood. But when I think about the best Wolfgang Puck restaurants, I'm so grateful that a Kristen Kish is allowed to cook there. But I'm still really coming for Wolfgang. You know what I mean? And so I feel like this is positioned to be one of the best seasons of All Stars, with a really photo finish at the end. So I'm going to kick this off. For me, my pick this round, I'm giving it to Denali. I don't know if she's actually going to win this round, but I see her in the semifinals. And then overall winner, I would love it to be Irene. TK, give me a winner for this brack and a winner for the overall brack. And obviously, the only real overall winner for brack is the one from Space Ghost.
Of course.
I think so.
I'm of course more of a Zorak myself, but you see where we're going with this.
perfect.
For me, a definite winner for this brack is Daya. I just think she's fantastic. I'm really happy to see how strong she started out, and I think she's really going to be one to watch and one to beat. For the whole thing, I really do see Daya being up there right until the end. I think Daya versus Irene would be fantastic, mostly just because I would feel like I was right about everything, and that's my favorite.
I mean, that's basically the plot of the TV show Dark Angel right there. So it's a post-apocalyptic world. All of these bitches are so strong.
I think the person that I enjoyed most in this episode, as much as I would love to say Denali, I really do have to give it up for Ginger. She did quite well in this. I think she picked the right partner to make sure she still looked good on the runway and was interested in letting her crush the story. And I think I think she got to live her little wicked fantasy, and I'm happy for her about that. Who do I think is going to take
Shoshana Bean?
I know. Who do I think is going to take the whole thing? I come down between Irene and Bosco. I think the storyline of First Out to winning All Stars is a more compelling storyline for producers. I just really want to see Bosco lip sync at all times, so that's where I'm at there. But I also, I don't know, I really do love Ginger, and I think she's really great. And she's like the one of them that's my queen that's still kind of left. So that's my kind of queen who's still left. There we go.
That is. But
really, if Tina Burner could come back, I swear to God, I will throw everything into the atmosphere. Let Tina Burner take it all. Her ball comes out. She sweeps on. She somehow lip syncs her way past Bosco and takes it. I don't know how, but let it be known.
Right, you know when Tracy turns bad.
You know when a white dude works at your local Chinese restaurant? That's Tina Burner in this image. Just 1,000,000,000%. And I can't unsee it, and it's so intense.
The most bikerish tattoos of lilies. The most bikerish tattoos of lilies I've ever seen in my life.
Ever. And that is that's the moment. Speaking of the moment and the most ever super awesome boss tattoos. Jojo, I am so excited to hear who you think would win purple and who you think would take the overall triple brack.
For me, who I think will win and take it all and come out with the most points is one, Denali. I think Denali is this competitive, hungry person who's there to win, and that makes me excited. That makes me filled with joy to see someone with that healthy, competitive nature come to fruition. So for me, it's Denali, and I've been saying it since episode 1. I've been saying it since the cast has been revealed. Bosco will win, or I will riot.
You know, I've seen those tits in person, and as a guy who loves tits, goddamn, she should win. She should win. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Kevo, give me your perps, and then give me your overall perp.
I was most impressed this episode by Acid Betty. We watched, like Tori keeps saying, we watched so much in such a blur. We'll probably go back and rewatch a ton at some point, but So I don't have the strongest, best impression, but this impression really, it really meant something to me. I really appreciated, and this look is crazy, but I really appreciated everything she was doing as an artist. And, it is way too soon for me to call the game. Even to say who I want. because everyone is so great. I'm such a pussy, but I'm always like, no, I want everyone to win and everyone to hold hands and have fun. Why can't it be silver, bronze, and gold and platinum, and everyone gets a badge?
Yeah.
Hisamu power.
Hisamu power, indeed. But I also do get the competition. So really, more for me, it is more the fact that too much is up in the air. It's going to depend on who gets that final locked in. They could win, probably not. But I really agree with Tori as well. We're probably going to see that tiebreaker happen. So whatever's going to shake out with points over the next 2 episodes, Rue is going to decide one of these 3. So we'll see who that's going to be.
I can't wait to see it. And until we come back to see it, we do this Wednesdays. We talk about comics. Either Friday or Saturday, we add in a bonus broadcast when we're feeling all about it. Ooh. But we vibe Drag Race either Friday after the show, Sunday, Monday. It's a variable schedule, but much like drag queens, we're there when we're there, and you tip us when you do. So we can't wait to talk about more of these amazing things. We've got some amazing stuff coming up this week. Definitely keep your ears peeled and your eyes glued to YouTube. But until we come back, somebody I keep my eyes glued to is, of course, none other than the very handsome Jonah. Where can everybody find one of the best goatee and chest hair combinations on this show?
You can find me places online at Peak Jonah.
I love that the other first place Ty immediately knew who he was and knew to smile and didn't think I was talking about myself. And that is because I have incredibly white facial hair. But somebody who always looks decked out, beautiful, spectacular, stunning, amazing, serving cunt every fucking day. Like she is getting underappreciated at Eurovision. Tori, Mama, you are not just our very own ASM, which is of course amazing, Mama, but you are absolutely serving looks every single week. We love it. Our audience loves it. We get so many comments about it every week. It makes us so proud. And if everybody wants to follow in that pride, where can everybody follow you?
You can find me online at smtori. That's Tori with an I, all over your Instagrams and basically nowhere else.
Hey, I appreciate it. I basically am just a Blue Sky bot account, so it's fine.
Yeah. Fine.
But speaking of bots, I love, and that's botsies. The guy below me, my favorite guy, my producer, my husband, my everything. Love you so much. Where can we check you out making media like the unbelievable amount? I mean, we're talking Moby B-side numbers of edits on this upcoming Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy video. God bless your incredible soul. Where can everybody find you?
No, it's not going to be a project like that. If you want to see a project like that, definitely go check out all of our Drag Race draft recuts that I've put up so far, especially our one about Must She TV. So immensely proud of that one. That one was whatever you just described. This won't be a piece of cake, but it'll be homework. I'll be okay. It'll be fun. So definitely check out Nico's unboxing of the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy cards coming, I believe, probably this week. Unless, there's a hurricane. Who knows?
I cry once.
Only?
True. Only. Yeah.
Only.
I got a double-sided Ultimecia card and started crying. And other than that, I actually held back the tears.
That's so good.
So you can check out my work on that later this week, and you can check me out at Kevoreally. That's KEVOREALLY.
But speaking of people who make me wag that tongue and who are a sexy double-sided Ultimecia card, if somebody could compress time, it would be this guy. And that's because if I tried to chase after him, I would die. So he is the fastest runner. TK, talk to me. Where can we find you? How can I keep up with you? You run too fast. I hate looking at your numbers. What's up?
You can find me trying to get the horns. Like
They're so big. They're
She's
so
big.
long.
She's such a queen. I love her. Yeah, you can find me being very jealous of everybody opening up their Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards at TK Accidental on all your socials. I'm just kidding. I am actually very stoked to watch that video because if I was going to watch anybody unbox those cards, it would be
This guy. And if you guys want to check me out, and you guys can already check out 2 booster pack unboxings that I did at that guy down there's place. We went over to Red Caps in Philly, and I did 2 booster unboxings. So great. You guys can check me out at Nico Action, NICOACTIO, and you guys can check out the music in the background that's been running over at my SoundCloud, which I'm going to drop SoundCloud. Their hyper insistence on our AI is good for you is absolutely bad for me. So I'm going to be finding a new place to house my music. Just check that out. It's going to be Nico Action Music, NICOACTIONMUSIC. But, you know, check me out on Blue Sky, Instagram. I'm always just kind of sticking my tongue out and flexing and hanging out with these folks because I think they're amazing. But speaking of hanging out with these folks, that's something I do a lot. You guys can check out the podcast that every one of us makes over on X is for Comics, which is our new brand for all of the things we do for comics over at X is for Podcast. HTML, that's Husbands Talking More or Less. And there's also amazing other feeds like our MC2 feed, our Billy Club feed, and more. But if you guys want to check us out here, being amazing, sexy, and live on video, you guys can check that out here on YouTube at X is for Show. Like, comment, and subscribe because we live for that shit. But 3 things that help us live for you. Number 1, do us a favor. Please stay safe. It's a crazy world out there. Number 2, please be brave. But number 3, evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, amazing. Who you are today, incredible. But it's who you are tomorrow that is the real dream. So until you come back for a 4th time like Ginger Minge, just stay sexy.